I wanted to ask if Clerk Hawthorne would be able to pull up my documents I sent to him for the case, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see. Let me pull that up. Georgia Department of Labor versus it's position 5. Okay, this is a claim for benefits which constitute overpayments in the total amount of $6,542 and interest at $1,247 for a total of $7,789. Ms. Watson, I read your answer, and the way I read it, and tell me if I read it wrong, was that you're admitting that there may have been an overpayment, but would be result from not your intent, but from errors on the application you wrote up. Is that fair to say that that's what
Yeah,
you?
I mean, when I applied and submitted, I was reporting what I thought was the correct information.
Okay,
And,
so
and
hold on. I'm going to let you have your free say, but I just want to focus on what I'm going to have to focus on in the trial here.
okay,
So you are not disputing the numbers that Ms. Lockwood presented. You're asking for because it was unintentional and it would create a hardship. You think that repayment, I should not order repayment. Is that correct?
yes, yes. I mean, right now, I explained to her we had a court date in April, and I explained to her then that I had a financial hardship, and I just told her today that I am actually borrowing money now to pay bills. That I am in a bind. Hours at my job have been cut due to the slow business, so I am in a bind.
Okay. And you don't dispute that you were paid the money that the
I mean, I was paid the money, so I can't say no, I wasn't. But when I applied and when I reported every week, I thought, I was putting down what I was supposed to put down. So it wasn't intentional, but when I got the notice that I was overpaid, I did file for um a waiver. I did file for a waiver, but I never heard anything about it. And this was
okay.
in 2020. So
All right, let's get back to the document search. And have we found the documents, Ms. Haythorne? Oh, that's right. You turning the authority to handle it over
Well,
to the.
I have it up as well, Your Honor. Sometimes people may feel like it's easier for them, but I have it pulled up as well.
Okay, Ms. Lockwood, do you want to identify what documents you'd like Ms. Haythorne to pull up?
Okay, sure. So it's the beginning. It just starts with the first page. Well, it's just one document. The first page, I have it marked A. It's just when the case was filed, the original suit is attached. Um, Also attached is the actual the next page is attached is the actual notice of determination. It's marked A1, Your Honor. If you would take a look at that.
A1. Okay, let's look at A1.
Okay, and should I share my screen now?
I don't know, Ms. Lockwood.
Yes, please. So the defendant can actually see, so she can understand also what I'm describing. Okay, so this document, Your Honor, right in the middle, this chart, it starts off by saying the claim week. The second column is the earnings reported by the defendant. The third column are the actual earnings reported by the employer. Now, the defendant stated that she reported what she thought, but you must be accurate when reporting your wages. If you go down to week ending August 29th of 2020, I'm sorry, towards the bottom, she reported $60 in earnings. The employer, via an audit we did, came back and told us that she actually received $365.23, Your Honor, which is over $300 in a discrepancy. So, I mean, a discrepancy not knowing your wages might be $1, maybe some change, but it's up to over $300 in discrepancies in her reporting.
All these amounts reported each week. How frequently does she do the reporting? Is it each week as she gets paid, or is it each month or
It's
bi-monthly?
weekly, Your Honor.
okay,
Okay,
can I say something?
Sure, go
Okay.
ahead, Mary.
At the time, I was working two jobs. I was working two jobs. So when I filed for unemployment, I filed for Super Fresh Foods, not Food Town Market. So when I was reporting what I was making from Super Fresh until till the business went out. So that's why I said when I applied just for that job. This is my first time applying. I don't know anything about unemployment. I just knew that they told me since the business was like going out, I can apply for unemployment to kind of make up for some of the wages that I was missing. This is what they told me. So I applied for Super Fresh Foods, not Fresh Food Town. So that's where the discrepancy comes in because I'm not knowing to report all of my income. And when I see this, I'm only seeing Fresh Food Town. I don't see Super Fresh Foods, which should be on here.
Okay, and I would like to address that. So
Sure.
for number one, you cannot pick an employer to file unemployment on. It's always on your most recent employer. So you can't file unemployment. You can't pick an employer to file unemployment on. It's going to always, per the law, be on your last employer. So that's number one. And if you would take a look at um, let me go down and see what exhibit this is. If you would go down to exhibit F, look, it's saying it's page 9. Exhibit F, when you're filing for unemployment, you are given a handbook. The handbook gives you all the information you need. The handbook starts off on the first page by saying, be honest. If you keep scrolling down, I've highlighted some things that it says report all earnings. You must report all your gross earnings. Read the information provided is the next highlighted information. Another page in the introduction, it says, please take the time to read the booklet. Make sure you understand its content. Do not risk losing your benefits because you do not know your rights and responsibilities. If you keep scrolling down, it says again, accurately report the reason you lost your job. Right under that, it says, report all wages you earned while receiving unemployment benefits. In number 9, it says you must report all gross wages. All gross earnings must be reported. So I've highlighted throughout this handbook many times it says make sure make sure your answers are truthful. Make sure your answers are entered correctly. Make sure you report any wages during the weeks they are earned. It goes on to say, reporting your income. When filing for unemployment, you must report all forms of income. Failure report income could result in you having to repay an overpayment of benefits. Again, it says you must report all income. It goes on to say this several times throughout the handbook, Your Honor. And then when it goes down to my last page, here it talks about overpayment. It even says the Georgia Department of Labor determined you were paid unemployment benefits you should not have received. It is considered an overpayment and you will be required to repay the money, including any income taxes withheld. It goes on to say, Your Honor, for a non-fraud overpayment, which is considered to be unintentional, you're still required to repay the benefits. It goes on to say, you may be subject to other civil penalties in a court of law, and you will have to pay certain court costs or filing fees. So I added this, Your Honor, to say again, when you file for unemployment, you receive a handbook. You have to acknowledge that you received this handbook or you can't go on to even file the claim. But within this handbook, Your Honor, it tells you several times, report your wages, report all wages, be honest and be accurate. Nowhere does this say report some of your wages, report your wages from your part-time job. In this handbook, it says from all employers, no matter if it's part-time, full-time, you have to report all your wages.
Do you need any other documents for the court to review?
Let me just go back up one more time. This is just the audit that we received from the employer. This was from Food Town, Your Honor. This is where they gave us the actual earnings. So these earnings came from the employer Food Town. I just wanted you to see that.
Okay. Okay. Does that conclude your presentation for the plaintiff, Ms. Lockwood?
Yes, it does, Your Honor.
Okay, before we take that down, Ms. Haythorne, Ms. Watson, was there anything in these documents you want to address before we take them down from the screen?
I can't dispute what the job said,
Okay,
it's right there in writing.
Ms. Haythorne, why don't you move the evidence from the screen so we could observe the witnesses? Okay, Ms. Watson, what do you want to say in response to what we've heard?
Okay, so like I said, this was my first time applying, and I didn't read the handbook. I did not. Also, I can't dispute what the job said. The job said that I made this money. I did, because that was my second job. So, I still had that job, but like I said, when I applied, I didn't read the handbook, and I just reported what I made on one job. Now that I know you have to report all of it, then that's what it is. But I'm not disputing the overpayment. I did when I first received the notice that I was overpaid, they requested $100 payment, and I did make $100 payment at the time. But then also after that, I filed a waiver to see if I can be excused from this, and I never heard anything back about it. So I don't know what to do. I mean, it happened. Um, like I said, I'm in a financial bind. Like I explained to her, my sister passed. Now I'm raising her son. And I'm just I can't. My job is like I'm really struggling over here.
Okay. All right, does that cover it? And Ms. Lockwood, are you done with your presentation?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to find for the plaintiff and the amounts which were set forth in the complaint. Clearly, this was false information. Each week it was given this false information. Clearly, the manual sets forth in plain language multiple times that there's a penalty and of loss of amounts paid if it's false information, and it is false information, and it's a lot of it. So I will be finding for the plaintiff. You're both excused at this time. You're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Very often deal with another party such as this and just can't seem to work it out. Don't resort to taking the law in your own hands.
We'll hear the litigants' reaction.